Russian troops began an assault on Ukrainian defensive positions, advancing from several different directions. A pair of tanks, outfitted with anti-drone countermeasures, slowly pushed forward toward the village. As the armored vehicles continued their approach, they came within striking distance of Ukrainian artillery units. Ukrainian forces responded with a number of accurate strikes, briefly disrupting the momentum of the advancing troops, but the assault was not fully halted. The artillery strikes fulfilled a strategic purpose beyond immediate damage. They created a critical window of time for Ukrainian FPV drone units to deploy. Within minutes, drone teams were in position, launching multiple aircraft into the air. Operating from above, the crews began systematically identifying and tracking advancing Russian vehicles across the battlefield. The first drone operator executed the strike with precision. The aircraft hit its designated target exactly as intended, destroying the vehicle completely. The operator of the second kamikaze drone moved quickly, guiding the aircraft toward an intercept course. Conditions favored the attempt. The drone struck its intended target with precision, carrying out the mission as planned. A second tank in the same column attempted to navigate around the disabled vehicle, seeking a clear path forward. Before it could complete the maneuver, it was swiftly engaged and struck by another FPV drone. But eliminating 3 vehicles in total was only the beginning. Another wave of drones was already being readied for the next strike. While the enemy's anti-drone systems proved formidable, Ukrainian operators matched them with skill and precision. The lead vehicle in the convoy demanded multiple direct hits, more than 3, before it was finally brought down. Soon after, a second vehicle in the convoy was destroyed. Ukrainian drones continued their relentless assault, and Russian forces began losing vehicles one by one. The rising number of drones required per target reflected the growing sophistication of Russian anti-drone defenses. Russia unveils its newest attempt at armor, a tank wrapped in a tangled mesh of metal cables, an untested defensive measure never seen before on the battlefield. Overcoming it may demand as many as 10 drones, but even then, the loss of drones is minimal compared to the destruction of such heavily armed machinery. Judging by its impact, this kind of makeshift armor could soon become a standard feature on Russian tanks and armored vehicles. On June 6, 2025, in the area of Ivano-Darivka in the Donetsk region, a Russian serviceman sought shelter behind a wrecked vehicle. Overhead, a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone tracked his movements in real time, documenting the scene from above. Meanwhile, a Ukrainian kamikaze drone was already approaching the damaged pickup, descending moments later to carry out its initial strike on the vehicle. The soldier did not attempt to relocate and remained beneath the vehicle. That decision proved costly, as the following strike was delivered with far greater accuracy. Another Russian soldier was later identified in the area. He narrowly avoided harm when a drone that landed close to him failed to detonate. However, his critical error would come moments later. He paused briefly, then reached down to pick up his rifle. The movement appears to have triggered the device, and the drone detonated at that moment. This archival footage captures a Russian mechanized assault carried out in 2023. 4 vehicles were destroyed almost immediately after striking the mines, while a single tank managed to break away from the blast zone and withdraw. A column of 5 tanks advanced directly into a minefield, triggering a series of explosions. The assault ultimately ended in failure for Russian forces. Several advanced T-90 tanks were lost before the unit even reached the frontline positions. This is the iconic Soviet UAZ-452, better known as the Bukhanka, caught in its latest ordeal in Ukraine. The Russians believed the van was safely hidden, but the illusion was shattered. As a drone opened fire, shrapnel tore into the vehicle. Then Ukrainian operators noticed something alarming under the camouflage netting. A stash of fuel had been concealed, turning the van into a potential fireball. More fuel canisters sit nearby when the drone releases a grenade, detonating with enough force to rupture them. Fuel begins to seep out, spreading across the ground, but the operation isn't finished. The Ukrainians ignite the spilled liquid. Then, as if possessed, the vehicle seems to come alive. Its headlights flicker on and it lurches forward. It's almost surreal, a ghost rider slowly engulfed in flames. No one will drive it again, yet the Russians still manage to find new ways to surprise. Here, in the occupied village of Shevchenko in the Donetsk region, Ukrainian forces launched strikes against houses reportedly occupied by Russian troops. What were once ordinary civilian residences had been transformed into makeshift bases and temporary command centers. Residential buildings are often used in such conditions because they offer immediate cover without the need for additional construction. Solid walls, basements, and existing infrastructure provide protection from shrapnel and aerial surveillance. Houses also allow troops to disperse across a settlement, reducing the visibility of large military concentrations and blending into the urban landscape. When such buildings are destroyed, the consequences can be severe. If ammunition or fuel is stored inside, secondary explosions may occur, intensifying the blast and spreading fire to nearby structures. Collapsing debris can also pose serious risks, turning the area into a hazardous zone even after the strike is over, like happened in this case. Now we observe a complication as Ukrainian forces attempt to finish off Russian vehicles and personnel. It may look brutal, but this is active combat. Ukrainian drone operators are engaging armed enemy soldiers to remove a threat from their homeland. But now it seems they've identified a new target called a Russian truck. The truck is still moving, though the drone appears to have struck the fuel tank. It sways from side to side but keeps going, even reaching its destination. Yet it's clear this is the truck's final journey. Flames have spread along the rear, and the target is ultimately destroyed. Here's another truck, but this one is packed with explosives, making it an even more dangerous target. One strike wasn't enough. A second drone intercepts the truck, and a massive column of smoke rises, visible from a distance. The next truck was immobilized and abandoned by the Russians, and the Ukrainians seized the chance to finish it off. The strike was successful. The vehicle is now engulfed in flames. Once again, this is an interception during a critical delivery. After the first drone strike, the truck veers into the open field, but a second drone is already closing in. Here, the Russian soldiers swiftly abandoned their armored vehicle, sensing the threat. This time, the FPV drone operator got lucky. The fleeing troops had left the door open. Striking from inside proved the most efficient and cost-effective way to neutralize the target, and the result was quickly apparent. In this final footage, Ukrainian soldiers use a missile launcher to shield their comrades from threatening enemy vehicles. Once again, Ukrainian forces emerge victorious. Thank you for watching Iron Pulse Media. Your support helps us keep reporting from the heart of the action. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you next time on Iron Pulse Media.